theyeshiva.net.
Shall
is the famous the baby guys, if you don't know the words, just sing along.
Somebody brought me Erev Purim, a new sefer Avnei Nezer on Purim. So I was reading it yesterday. So I saw that Avnei Nezer used to tell a mice on Purim about a shikr from Krakow. Avnei Nezer lived in Poland in Sachsenhof. He told a story about a shikr, an alcoholic. You know what a shikr is, yeah? An alcoholic. Today they call him an alcoholic. There used to be nice names. A shikr, or whatever, a lebediker. Today, we call a spade a spade. So there was a shikr. Huh? You brought your own? So he told them, my Avnei Nezer would tell Purim a maisa from about a shikr in Krakow. This shikr in Krakow, of course, every excuse that he had to drink, he was there. He was always there. His seder was other. He would drink 2 weeks before Purim and 2 weeks after Purim. Of course, Purim is like Haimel Shayla. But 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after, in other words, the whole other, he was basically smashed completely out from beginning to the end. So they asked him, what's the excuse? The Gemara sagt, Amar Rav Chayev Inish L'Besumah B'Purya, on Purim, but not 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after. It's like a shit in Yerushalmi. The Yerushalmi brings that B'Di'evet. It's got an halacha, Kol HaChodesh Kasher L'Kriyas HaMegillah, because HaChodesh HaShenabach Lahem, but that's B'Negei Kriyas HaMegillah. Besides Yud Aleph, Yud Beis, it says B'Di'evet Kol HaChodesh Kasher, but not for drinking. That depends. For Shei, no. For Shei is Kamat Nevetach. So the shikr from Krakow, and he said that the shikr from Krakow said as follows. He said this. He said he never understood Haman. Why did he never understand Haman? Haman makes a gzeira that all the Jews, Lahashmin, Lada, Belabdas, Kol HaYehudim, and Arba, Zokim, Tav, and Noshim, B'yoyim Echad. There's one designated day, like Pachas, Yud Gimel Adar is the day Chalila, to wipe out all of Klal Yisrael. Look at the shikr, he says, I don't understand him. I'm an idiot. He's a moron. The Jews will hide that day. They'll hide in Beiris and Sichin and Maidas. They'll hide in caves and attics and holes. They'll hide one day. The next morning, they'll emerge from their hiding place. Chasal said the Pesach. The Gzeir is over. There was one day, permission to kill, that's it. Now it's illegal. What was Haman thinking? He should have given it a whole month. Taka, his girl came out to Chodesh Adar. Why did he have to start looking for a day? Give it a month. You have a month to kill. You could examine, you could search, you could scrutinize, you could pursue. You give it one day, certainly a lot of Jews will get away. They'll hide for the day and they'll be good. Und der Avnei Nezer hat gesagt, Asamoyre dike kasha. What was Haman thinking? The Tzorah HaYehudim in our times, a generation ago, he gave himself 5 years. Haman gave himself 1 day. What are you going to do in 1 day? People will hide. Zok the shikr from Krakow, Hert. He said Haman was a very perceptive person. He knew that it may not work out. He knew that with the Jews, you try one thing and it could come right back against you. So he had a chashash that it won't work out, and fakert, it's going to become a Yom Tov. So he said Zoisloi to give them a Yom Tov. Never. 1 day, say that the Evet, I have no choice. Svek, I can kill them. I'll be mevater to give them 1 day Yom Tov. But to give them a Yom Tov for a month, Zoisloi. Zog the shikr from Krakow. I'm not going to let Haman have it his way. His whole machshava was not to kill us for a month, so we shouldn't have a Yom Tov for a month. I will not let him get away with it. Ich mach Purim ganz Chodesh. He said, I'm the real one who celebrated Purim. Now it's like a mitzvah Purim, technically. But Madach, the whole other, he could be Chayim, so he can be Chayim, and also mitzvah Purim. Chayim. There's a beautiful Maisa. Kedusha Arim used to say on Purim to explain why the Chazal said Chayiv Vinish the Psum of the Puri Adu Yadu, why no other Yom Tov, that they even, there's even a remes for this. What's happens? It wasn't the only time the Jews were saved. By Yetzias Mitzrayim, Jews were also saved. The other times, Jews Chanukah, they were also saved. Dafke here is Mordechai's Yom Tov, something unique. There are a lot of different explanations. One Nekuda used to say, he told a story. At the time of the Baal Shem Tov, the Chiddush Harim would tell the story. It's brought in his Sfarim. The Chiddush Harim said at the time of the Baal Shem Tov, there was a Jew, and he was a big Baal Aveda. You know what a Baal Aveda is? I know. Present company excluded. But he had a chush in Avedas. Not just he did Avedas, he had a chush in it. He had a special sensitivity, he had a sweet tooth for certain Avedas. Especially any area that had to do with displaced chesed. The Yonam of Arayas. Promiscuity. By Yayoim, the Chiddush Harim said, he was fed up with the extent of his sinning till that point. He took with him a huge amount of money, 500 golden ruble, but mamish pure gold, to go to a particular place where he would be able to fulfill all of his cravings and all of his addictions. The Gemara says in Avodah Zarah about Rebbe Elazar ben Dardayash, there wasn't anybody that he left, and this guy decided he's going to go. He'll be able to buy his way into any person he wanted to have relations with. Shut on the road, he's traveling, and he hears a kol yilala. He hears people sobbing. He finds out what's happening. So Karagin in Poland, then there were the Jews would rent taverns, krechmas, inns from the pritzen, from the overlords, and you would pay them the annual revenue. And people would stay there and drink and eat, they called them Motel 6. And they called them krechmas, taverns. By Hiyayim, there was this Jewish family, they couldn't afford the rent, they wouldn't pay for a few years, so the Parrots came, expelled them, and he was throwing them into prison until somebody would pay up their rent for a few years. A man, a husband, a wife, and all of their children. So there was shreklich sabbath. So this Jew stops and he asks, how much is the rent? They tell him 5,000 golden ruble. So he takes the money and he gives it to the family to pay up. And he goes back home, he's not going to be able to get any good schayda. You know. So he goes home, he goes in a tumult in Himmel, such a commotion in Himmel. Azabal Aveira, in a moment of truth, he had such passion for sin, and in a moment of truth he gave it all up to help another Jewish family. This is a unique moment. So they paskin that any bracha this man gives is going to become a kuyan. Huh? We're looking for him. We're looking for him. We have to have two qualifications. First of all, a real Baal Aveda, so that the passion should be stark. And number two, to take that passion and to give it away. So, and the Kachavet, the Yid, yeah, but nobody even thought to come to him for brachas. It was a Muslim. Somebody, he once gave a bracha to somebody and they saw. So it became a whole big thing. So L'mayla Gevar Natumul here, this guy is going to change the whole creation. It's going to be Mechayim Mason. There won't be any Elam Hazeh left. Whatever he wants, he'll do. So they managed to get him into alcohol. He became an alcoholic. Who goes to a shikr for a bracha? You got to be crazy. You go to a shikr for a bracha. He's completely inebriated, intoxicated. Most of the day, he would lay on the floor of the smadrash, like a shikr. So first of all, he wasn't shy to give a bracha. He was smashed. Once there was a psak zayda in a city. They came to the Baal Shem Tov, and the Baal Shem Tov said he can't help. They said, "What should we do if you can't help? Who do we go to?" So the Baal Shem Tov said, "Go to that drunk in that city and ask him to daven for you." They said, He's not shaykh. Wait for a sober moment, wait for a lucid moment, then go." And he told him the story. He said, "You'll get him in a lucid moment with kachav." So the Chidush Harim said, that's Pshat Purim. Purim, the koyach of a yid, is infinite. The koyach of a Jew on Purim is infinite. What he or she can accomplish on every level. So Chayav, there has to be a counterbalance. So Chayav Inish L'Psum of Purim, they put him into a, so to speak, a light day. That really it's a deeper day even than Yom Kippur. Purim is more serious than Yom Kippur. But in order to counterbalance the whole Metziah, is to be able to be b'chira in the world, so the Chayav Inish L'Psum, people are putting on masks, they're eating hamantashen, they're running around, they're going here, they're going there, they're collecting, they're giving, they're collecting, they're giving again. They're flattering, they're going from one meal, one knish to another knish, one sushi to another sushi. At kan the word of Chidusha. What's the oimik of the word? Chazal, what they wanted, a person shouldn't utilize the power, take it away from him. Obviously what he's saying is something deeper. What he's saying is that it's really a whole metaphor. The greatest tragedy of a person is that he doesn't know his koyach. He thinks he's a shikr. Shikr doesn't necessarily mean you're an alcoholic. That too. Shikr means you think you don't have das.
Shikr is v'lo miyayin.
Shikr is v'lo miyayin. Vayachshevera Eli. Shikr. Eli thought Chana was an alcoholic. Eli was lacked such perception. Of course, Eli saw the matzav. He didn't know that there was a woman crying. But he thought she was shikr. What's pshat? It says in Svadim that Eli thought she was shikr with herself. You know, some people say about a certain person, he's a self-made man and he worships his creator. She was inebriated with herself. Shalosh says that Chana happened on Rosh Hashanah. So Eli was saying on Rosh Hashanah, it's the simple Chatu Hashem al-Kedel Vadecha. What's trachst du in sich? You're drunk on your own needs. Stop telling God how great your problems are. Start telling your problems how great God is. The rest, that's what Eli said. So Chana said, you don't understand. I'm asking for a child that's not narcissistic. It's part of my relationship. So a person sometimes doesn't realize who he is. So in that a person could think, what's pshat? Pshat is, we want you to forget who you are. So what he's saying is that the emes is the opposite. That Purim, a person has the koyach to be megala, who he truly is. His etzem hanefesh, his pnimius. Because most people's tragedy is that they don't know who they are. They don't cut themselves any slack, especially today. People think that people are arrogant today. Halavai, I don't see any arrogance today. What we see is a terrible sense of inferiority, of mediocrity, of a sense of smallness. A person doesn't realize who he is. A person doesn't realize who he is, then he gets into trouble. I told you once, the Kedushas Levi said, the Babitshiva says, that Noach. It says in Parshas Noach, that Noach came into the Teva, Mipnei Mei HaMabul. So Rashi says, Af Noach, Miktane Amona Hoyo. Noach also didn't have a lot of Amunah. He had to wait for the flood to go in. Asks the Levitzik Baditsheva, he says, Noach didn't have a munah 120 years. The man is building a boat. The whole world is mocking him. The whole world is scoffing at him. He's building a boat for 120 years. That's called K'tanei Amunah. Besides the fact, he didn't even have to have a munah. Hashem spoke to him. Vaydaber Hashem el Noach. Hashem spoke, he didn't need a munah. He didn't need faith. Hashem spoke to him. So what's Pshat? He says, in Kedushas Levi Parshas Noach, he says, Noach Miktanei Amunah, he didn't lack a munah in Hashem. If Noach Miktanei Amunah, he didn't have a munah in himself. Miktanei Amunah, he had a lot of amunah, he didn't have a munah in himself. He didn't realize the koyach of a person. The Gemara says, Tzadik goyzer HaKadosh Baruch Hu Makayim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu goyzer v'tzadik mevatel. He didn't believe in it. He didn't. Hashem said, I'm going to bring a flood. All he said is, yes, sir. Build a boat so everybody will drown and you'll survive. Okay, sir. Yes, boss. He says, look at Moshe. Hashem said, build a boat. I'm destroying everybody else. He says, not on my dead body. So Mecheni, he says, Mecheni is Oisis Mei Noach, because Moshe was the Gilgul of Noach. But that's a whole arichas. The Nekuda is, the Chedush is bringing out Noach, Miktanei Amunah Haya. That on Purim, a person has to realize, Kol HaParshat Yad Nois. Person doesn't, he thinks he's a drunk, and he doesn't realize his koyach. On Purim, a Jew thinks he's an insignificant creature, and he doesn't realize the real Nekuda of Purim. We all get drunk in life, and we don't realize our power. The tragedy of that Jew was, he looked at himself in the mirror, he said, I could give a bracha. Me, the Chagnestim Balavein in the world. That's today also. People look at themselves, they say, me, I have a psa-shaychis to the Rebbeinu Shalom. I know who I am. Mela, my mother-in-law doesn't know who I am. At least you think so. Mela, this one doesn't know who I am. But I know who I am. So I'm shaykh to something. There was a Yid who came to the Ragachover once and he asked for a bracha. The Ragachover said, what are you coming to me for brachas? He didn't like giving brachas. He used to say, get some koyin. There is some meich who's a koyin. Get some koyin. So he says, Rebbe, the Gemara sagt, alte hid birches hedit kala beinach. Even a hedit, a peasant's bracha shouldn't be kala. It says, kol sheker v'kal v'choyme. Madach a birches hedit shouldn't be kala beinecha. A bracha from the Sarah Torah should be kala beinach. The Keshavah says, what do I have to give you a bracha? Mita kal v'choyme. Give yourself a bracha on a kal v'choyme. Give yourself a bracha on a kal v'choyme. What do you need me to give with a kal v'choyme? Right? So that was his style. But the Nekuda is a person looks at himself, he doesn't realize who he is. People have a lot of emunah in Hashem. They just don't have emunah that they're part of Hashem and who they are and their capacity. So the Chidush Shirim says that's the danger of Purim. Don't take the chitzonius of it. Al tistakel bakankan. I don't mean only this kankan, I mean this kankan. Al tistakel bakankan, elaba mesha yeshboy. You look at Purim, you could think it's the kankan, it's the party. And the whole pnimius of Purim gets lost. Al tistakel bakankan, elaba mesha yeshboy. Chaim, chaim. Whoops, I got
for him, and so I went to look into it. And so they make
Very sorry.
likely.
Going to happen the next year, Yud Gimel Adar, from Yud Gimel Nisan, when the Gzeira came out till Yud Gimel Adar, all Esther managed to do was that Achashverosh should give a second letter allowing the Jews to defend themselves against their enemies on Yud Gimel Adar, not to reverse the original edict which gave a right to every Soili Yisrael and an obligation to kill Jews. Elamai, Jews could now fight back with the approval and the stamp and the encouragement of the king. Over the year, Rabbi Me'amei Aretz Mesyadim, the matzav changed. Why did that happen? Why couldn't he just send a letter and have charata? So Rashi says a pasnish that's not covered a malchus to say the first ones were a mistake or forged. The first ones remain. Elamai, we're going to do a second letter that you could defend yourself. Agav, le'inyin, not mamish ba'isa yinyin, but Purim is the chalz ba'isa yinyin, because adal yada, so mele is kol ha'teira inyin echad. This explains an interesting inyan. I said it to one of the shiurim, it's a very nagishmak. There's an old question, why Tainus Esther is called Tainus Esther, the fast of Esther. What's the time? What's the shaila? The reason we fast Tainus Esther is brought in Hilchos Megillah, Shulchan Aruch, and Noisei Kelim is because why do we fast Yud Gimel Adar? What's up Yud Gimel Adar? So back in Shulchan Aruch he brings a minute to fast for 3 days. The Rambam says why fast for 3 days? 3 days doesn't mean mamash 3 days. It means baham. It should be before Purim or after Purim or baham. Because Esther said, Sumu Alai, Shloishis Yom. It says, Ein Noyadinke. What do? We fast 1 day. Yud Gimel Adar. Why Yud Gimel Adar? So it's brought in Halacha, in the Paiskim, and Hilchos Purim, and Mishnah Berurah, and many Paiskim. The reason is because Seder by Yidden was that when they went to war, they used to fast. Why? Because fasting creates an Eis Ratzon. And when they went to war, they needed a special Skulim in Hashemayim, a special Ezer Sayata Deshmaya. So they used to fast as an Indian of Tshuva and Eis Ratzon in order to be victorious. Yud Gimel Adar was a day of war. It was serious combat. 75,000 dead in all of the provinces of Achashverosh. But these 75,000 weren't innocent bystanders. They were people who came with swords and knives and axes to hunt down Jews, Chalillah. And the Jews fought back. So, and then in Shushan it went another day. But then it was a big war. So the Mela, Jews would fast. So we fast, Zecher, for the Yemei HaTzoymes v'Zakasim, and then Yudalit we celebrate just like that. Yud Gimel was a difficult day, and Yudalit was a relaxed day. Granted, Shtolzich the Shaila, why is it called Tainus Esther? Why is it called the fast of Esther? What's such a summit Esther? The Tainus of the Jewish people, there's no shaykhs with Esther whatsoever. So, there's a Iluya Shecham from the Lubavitcher Rabbi once said as the reason it's called Tainus Esther, as the Gemara says in Tainus, I think of Ches, it's brought also in Erechaim, I think Simon Tov Rishayin Aleph, that since it's Adal Yadu, so if you find a mistake, but I think it's Simon Tov Rishayin Aleph, that B'Shas, when you go to war, you fast. But here's the problem. When you go to war, you have to be strong, Pikuach Nefesh, Stoich, everything. You're not allowed to fast. So how do you do both? You go to war, you want to fast, but you're not allowed to fast. The Gemara says, and it's what in Halacha, that B'nei HaMulchama make a achlota that they're going to fast after they come back. And Machshav Tevach HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mitzvah L'Maisa, so it's nechshav, the very resolution that they're going to fast. Every old man, a baby in the crib, everywhere was the front line. Every kitchen, every dining room, every bedroom, every park, there was no front line. Every Jew was a target. If every Jew was a target, every bubba in her house had to be able to pick up a knife. Was there any Jew who was allowed to fast that day? Al pi halacha? Not one. Because everybody was in sakana fighting. Everybody had to eat. There was only one Jew who was allowed to fast. Oil and Yud Gimel Adar. Who? Esther. The only one who was allowed to fast was Esther. Her, she didn't have to. She knew nobody's going to come kill her. That's why it's called Titus Esther. Because Lepoil, the only one who fasted was Esther. Everybody else was a machshava, who was achlot. I'm going to get into this.
Who cares? Who cares? You got it.
No, I got to halfway. I got the destination. What's up again? Nobody's on the
What's up? Oh yeah.
So now Esther comes, so they have to fight. Because the original Gzeda was not in this battle, it was just another Gzeda. Atkan is the story in the Megillah. If you listen to the Balkaida or this morning or last night, then you understood. So not Ibn Chaza the Mais. Now let's go to the next step. So the whole Nikud of Purim is Sava Shenichta B'Shem HaMelech V'Nechtem Ein Lahosh. Elamai. We're going to add the extra Gzeda, but the first thing is Ein Lahosh. This is the Emes Purim. Let's take it in life. The Gemara Zochtach in Megillah as well. That when it says Melech in Megillah is the Malka Shalom. And Amar writes in his Pirush on Megillah, Mechir Yain, that Achashverosh is Acharis, Bereshis Shalom. The Gemara says whenever it says Melech, it's Malka Shalom. Ksav Asher Nichbet B'Shem HaMelech V'Nechtem Tabas Melech Ein Lahosh. What's Pshat? The Gemara Zochtach in Megillah, Shalu Talmidov, if you give one Shalu Talmidov, it's Rashbi. Why did it happen? Nanu Misudasa, Shalai Sarash, Ishtachibul Atzelim, all the shit is there. It was a Nekuda of Chatainu. So that created the whole thing. No problem. Comes Esther and says, I want to reverse it. It never happened. Let's change the whole thing. He says, no. Ksava Shenichtav Ein Lahashiv. In life, people look at their own language. What they want to do is, at some point, they want to come to the Melech. They want to say, reverse the past. Reverse the past. So he says that's not the Chiddush of Purim. The Chiddush of Purim is Ksav Asher Nichtav B'Shem HaMelech Ein Lahosh. We can't reverse the past. Not only we can't, we don't want to reverse the past. If we reverse the past, we'll gain that there was no past, but we won't be able to transform the past. Havana Sadavar is, you have by Sarah and Avram Avinu, Vatitzchak Sarah Lemer. Vatitzchak Sarah, Sarah starts laughing. She's going to have a baby at 90. You would also start laughing.
Some of us would cry.
Laughing, crying. Aber gegleibt was du nicht. So he turns to her and he says, Hashem says to Avram, Madu atzachach Sarah. And he told him, Hashem, why is she laughing, right? So Avram, of course, like a good Jewish husband, confronts his wife. Vatechachesh Sarah lemer, lo tzachakti. Why? Ki yareya. She was scared. Vayomer, lo ki tzachakt. At first glance, it seems like a classic Jewish couple. Sarah said, I didn't laugh. Well, you did. What's the next? That's it. That's where the story ends. Okay, you did. Right? That's it. Lo ki tzachakt. Next. Moves on. What's Pshat? What's Pshat? Okay, in this case, he was right. But
The husband was right?
in this case, she didn't laugh. Pshat is azar. Vatechachesh Sarah lemer lo tzachakti. Sarah said, I laughed. Elamai. But she did tshuva. So she wasn't the same person. So she said, lo tzachakti ki yareya. She did tshuva me'yira. Tshuva me'yira, the Gemara says in Yom, at the end of Yom, Adaf Pevav, that's doinus nasa like shgagas. When a person does tshuva me'yira, his doinus become like mistakes. Mistakes, you forgive. Somebody slams their door on your finger by mistake. You're not going to forgive them. It was a mistake. I'm sorry, it was a mistake. I said something by mistake. I didn't mean it. Of course you forgive. Ki areya. Sarah did tshuva meira. Because she did tshuva meira, she said, Loi tzachak. Vayoyim and Abraham said, Loi ki tzachak. You don't understand. Our Indian is tshuva meyav. Tshuva meyav is doinus nasalei kezachias. You don't run away from the sin. The sin is transformed into a mitzvah. Tshuva meyav transforms the aved into a mitzvah. Don't run away. Loi ki tzachak. You laugh. Take the laughter with you. Supplement the laughter. The chiddush is ki tzachak tshuva meyav. It's a whole different b'china. Esther tells Achashverosh, forget the past. He says, no, that's not the chiddush of Purim. The chiddush of Purim is ki ksava shenichtav ein lo hashiv. We look at our people look at the mistakes they made. This, I should have done this, I should have done that, I'm this. My youth, this happened when I was engaged, when I got married, when I was a bocher, when I was a kid. If only I would have listened to Ploini Almoini. You're making a mistake. You're dealing with Malka Shalom. He doesn't want from you Lohashiv. Never happened. No, ain't Lohashiv. Fakert. The Chiddush of Purim is V'napichu. Asher Yishvatu Ayudim, the very same Yud Gimel Adar. That was the day of Misa, became Fakert, the day of celebration. It's not a Chiddush of running away from it. To take the negative energy and to transform it, this is the Chiddush from Purim. We spoke the other day, we're learning Masechta Beitza in our early bird shir, because I read from the Ruzhina. The Ruzhina said that Zakhdar Klal and Halacha in Yeridea, it comes from Masechta Beitza, in the beginning, the Dover Sheyesh L'Matirim in your bottle. Anything that's going to become mutter on its own in the future, there's no din bittul. So for example, an egg is born on Yom Tiv, right? So you're not allowed to eat the egg. So let's say the egg, you're not allowed to eat it because it was born on Yom Tiv. So whatever the reason is, but it's muktzah on Yom Tiv. So what happens if it gets mixed into 1,000 kosher eggs? And it's bittul, it'll be right, bottle in 1,000. The Gemara says it's awesome. Why is it awesome? Since it's going to become mutter tonight, it's on Yom Tiv. So wait till it becomes mutter. So therefore there's no bittul by Dover Sheshlim. Anything that's going to become mutter, let's say, Teva, you give Maisa, whatever, they ain't involved. Then the Ruzhin Chassidus Shakash. He says, why is it that by Avedas there's no bittul? Mishnah says in Pirkei Avos, if you do a mitzvah, you create a malach. If you do an Aveda, you create a kategor. Gemara says in Saita that a mitzvah is not mechaba Aveda. A Jew does 60 mitzvahs during the day. He does one Aveda. It should be bittul b'shish. Why doesn't the Aveda get nullified? The Ruzhin Gezuk is a dover sheyesh le'matir. Because if you do tshuva me'avis, doinus nasalek is. If you do tshuva, it becomes a dover stand. It's not an Aveda anymore. It's fakert. It's a dover sheyesh le'matir. Lish bottle. The Baditchever writes, if the Shaslevi says in Parshas Emer, it says, "Lekachtem lechem b'yom harishon pri yitzad lekapis t'mara." The Medrash says, the Medrash Ramba Emer, what's b'yom harishon? It's the 15th day. So he says, "Rishon l'cheshbon avonos." What's pshat Sukkot is called Rishon l'cheshbon avonos. The first day you calculate sins. So the Welt sagt, Poshet. Yom Kippur, everybody has a clean slate. The 4 days between Yom Kippur and Sukkot, everybody is busy. They don't have time to do Avedas. People are fighting with each other about the price of the esrog, the lulav, the sukkah. They're bargaining, they're running, they're stressed out. When is the first time you could really sin? The first night of Sukkot, you come into your sukkah, everybody's relaxed. You make kiddush, you say, I might see, there's a gedichte lashon hara, a gedichte aveda. The first night of Sukkot is rishon l'cheshbon avonos. Now the calculation starts. So you understand the fayid like it's a baditchev latnish. Torah calls Sukkot by Yom Rishon because a Jew starts sinning on Sukkot. Maybe there'll be a Jew who won't sin when he comes into the Sukkot. Just to put such a black stain on every Jew that the first night of Sukkot is going to start sinning. This is how you have to think. He says the difference between Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot is Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, the Arizal says the beginning of Smoiloi Tachas L'Roshi. You may have been smile, gvura, discipline, strength. Sukkot is the samachta b'chagecha v'yeminoi techapkeinu. It's not yira, it's ava. Till Sukkot is more the avoid of yira. Sukkot is the avodah of simcha, of ava, of dispassions. So he says like this. Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur is Tshuva Meira. Tshuva Meira is doinus, nasa loikish gogas. So the sins become mistakes and they're dismissed, they're discarded. What happens on Sukkot? Sukkot, a Jew does Tshuva from ava. You do Tshuva out of ava. This doinus, nasa loikish is the sins become mitzvahs. So he says, now it's Rishon L'cheshben Avonis. Rosh Hashanah says, don't dismiss your sins, bring them all back. Let's make a cheshbon. Every one of them becomes a mitzvah. Every one becomes a Rishon L'cheshben Avonis, bring them all back. Shamati me Rabbeinu had a deep heart. What do you see? Rosh Hashanah, where do we do tashlich? What's tashlich? You go to the water. The sashlich b'mtzulas yom kol chatoisom. V'varf tarai k'vayoch all the avedas in the yam. The Tzeltach that recently there was a Psachosh V'yid, somebody, they called him a Rebbe, whatever, and he went and he did Tashlich. So the Meisim, the Rebbe Reb Melech, and after he did Tashlich, the Chassidim jumped into the water. They said, Vasa, they said, Ich will haben the Rebbe's Avedas. So recently it also happened, there was a Tashlich, and guys jumped in. So they started to kill each other. The Rabbi said, "There's plenty for all of them. There's plenty, but I'll finish. You don't have to this." A guy called me, a Rav called me, he has to do a chuppah, but he has like 50 kibbudim and there's only 7 brachas. What should he do? He has 50 kibbudim. I said, give out al-chet. The chuppah, to do al-chet, just you have to match the right al-chet to the right person. You're going to do Michael or Mishta to a skinny guy, it's not going to work. For him, you have to do something else. But for the right guy, you have to match the right al-chet to the right person, but then you'll have enough kibbudim for everybody. You do 70, 80 kibbudim. And he didn't like my idea. So Rosh Hashanah, what do? When you go to the water, you throw away the water. Okay, that's Rosh Hashanah. Now look at this. Half of the fellow. What happens on Sukkot? Sukkot is up the Gemara and Sukkot. What they do? They used to go to Mea Shalayach every morning, every Sukkot. They drew the water. What were they doing? On Rosh Hashanah, you took your sins and you threw them into the water. You got rid of them. On Sukkot, you go back to the water and you reclaim
Exactly.
You take them out of the water, you reclaim them. That's the Midah Sh'larasim Chazbis Hashem. Power in life is not to reverse your past. There's no such a thing. It comes from Hashem. Ein lo Hashem. We're all trying to do a whole day and go, what if I would have married somebody else, if I would have taken another job, if I would have gone to another yeshiva, if I wouldn't have been in the mikveh at that night, if I wouldn't have been in my house, I wouldn't have had this person. The Daila Mevin, the Daila, we don't have to be Maidach and all the issues that people struggle with. But sometimes our whole life we're looking at the past. And for good reason. What if? Zok Purim and says, Ksav Hashenichtav B'Shem HaMelech Ein Lo Hashem. It's not what you have to do. The Chiddush of Purim is much deeper. The Chiddush of Purim. You're going to take everything that you experienced and you'll transform it. And you'll use it as a catalyst and a springboard for a new type of life that would have been impossible without it. The B'chin of Tshuva Meyav is doinus nasalei kazach is dafka this doinus create a new type of oil that they couldn't have created without it. Don't tell me you didn't laugh. People, everyone wants to walk around as though they were born tzaddikim. They don't have a past. It's not a good idea. At the end of L'Chadoidi, what do? We turn around. You ever notice in a flyer? Or you're busy sending emails?
No.
L'Chadoidi, you stop. Okay. Even though it's not Rabbi Tam, in your show, it's not Rabbi Tam Shkia yet, you can still send an email. Okay? But you stop. So after L'Chadoidi, then Caesar falls. It's all Tshuva Meyav. Huh? Vada.
But it's Ein L'Hashem.
But it's Ein L'Hashem, exactly. Once an email is sent, it's Ein
Even
L'Hashem.
as it's done, is it could be mild to Shabbos.
That's the
If
way
I want to take it over, take it over.
So after the Chadoidi, everybody turns around. So what do we turn around? So Pi Halacha, the reason is, there's a few reasons. Shabbos Malchus, the Avelim, whatever the reasons that were in Halacha, why we turn around and then start right, I think from Rabbi Sadek I saw once. I'll tell you what he says, beautiful part. It's very applicable in nowadays. A person discovers Shabbos, I say it often, people Ali Tshuva, who change their whole life. And if not Pasha, people who are FFBs, who say it's verblunget from birth, don't understand what it means. Lech lechem me'artzechem ladchem be'sivudoshem. Comes a Sudas Purim.
Du hast nicht, du bist da am Mond, so gehen von Kanreiz.
Once a person comes, leaves a whole family and starts a whole new life. Yeah, it's not simple. A Sudas Purim. Person has mishpacha, they have in-laws, they have parents, they have siblings, they have nephews, nieces, brothers-in-law, sisters-in-law. You have a person leaves their whole past life and starts a new life. It's far from simple. One of the natural temptations is we want to so integrate into our new life, we want to forget our past. You want to say goodbye to your past. Mashahaya haya, I don't know you. I'm a new person. Comes Shabbos, Mizmor Shiliyah Shabbos, you want to run into Shabbos, L'chadoidi, Likras Kalam, Shabbos, L'kabla. Once you taste L'chadoidi, that's it. Dr. Tzaddik, hold on 1 second. Before you do Mizmor Shiliyah Shabbos, you have to look back. You have to turn around. Don't run into Shabbos without who you are, because it's going to come back to bite you and haunt you. What's the end of Parshas Yisrael? Parshas Matan Torah. There's no parsha that has such an anticlimactic culmination like Parshas Yisrael. Leisala b'malas al mizbechi. Why? Don't jump up steps, because I may see that you're not so modest. That's the end, the whole culmination of my the words up to brachas that we base. By brachas. This is the end. So the pshat is that sometimes you see God and you're tempted to run up to the mizbeach. So he says, "Leisala b'malas al mizbechi." Rabbi, don't run up so fast. Don't take such steep steps. You know why? Because after a few years, you're going to look at yourself in the mirror and you're going to say, where am I? And then you may take a deep dive into the abyss. You're going to wake up one day and you're going to say, where am I? I'm dead, right? They say that one of the Chevra in Cuba told his constituents, he said, I have great news. Yesterday we were standing at the edge of the abyss, and today we took a giant step forward. So what happens is, you go up very, very high. It happens to a lot of yeshiva bachrim. You know, you're 18 years old, you decide you're a Kiva Eger. You know what I mean? You decide you're the next Rabbi Kiva Eger, or at least the next Rabbi Eliyashiv, or at least Rabbi Vadi Yosef. You know that face? You know that face? You're going to steig for 29 years, etc. Then you decide you're Yeshua, maybe even a Baal Shem Tov, whatever. And then a few days later, you walk in the street and you see something and you realize you're also not with it. You're even not. So what happens? Sometimes people fall into the abyss. It happens often in life. You go into Shabbos, you can't forget your past. You have to take with your past. Hashem put you where He put you for a reason, not to run away from it. The energy that people put into what if, they want to forget their past. It's not their avodah. The avodah is to take with your past, turn around, and take that into Shabbos. Because the ultimate purpose is to transform, v'napechu, that's the Chiddush of Purim. The Chiddush of Purim is Rishon l'cheshbon avonos. Every mistake you ever made in life can become a springboard for rejuvenation, for rediscovery. It's a fairy tale, not Vesakish, but it's a good word. There was a manager, top executive in IBM, and he made a terrible mistake in business. And basically, he cost the company $10 million. So the next day, he realized his mistake. he gave in his resignation papers. So the CEO calls him in, he says, "Why are you resigning for?" He says, "After what I did, I'm just leaving, you don't owe me anything, I'm so sorry." He was crying, he was a good guy. He says, "Why are you leaving?" He says, "Well, you don't have to throw me out in the severance pay, I'm just leaving." He says, "You're leaving? I just invested $10 million in your education, and you're leaving?" And it was a brilliant idea because he kept him there, and the loyalty that he engendered as a result is, of course, unparalleled.
We're on now. We're live. We're on air. You're not on video.
To understand. So given amal a shadchan. You know what a shadchan is? A matchmaker. Shadchan is Russian Davis, sheker, doiver, kesef, noiver. He speaks lies and he takes money. He calls the kala and he says, "I have a chassan for you." Already at the age of 5 he finished Yerushalmi. At the age of 14, the Shaykh Tzazog, he was already down with Shechol Bnei HaGoyim. At the age of 17, Mamash, there's nothing like him. He's a Malach Hashem Tzvaka. Like the movie Layai, the guy can't read Aleph Beis, but finished Yerushalmi. But that's how a Shadchan does. He calls the Chassan. I heard a Kala, an unbelievable Kala. She'll be with you through thick and thin. She also finished Yerushalmi at the age of 4. Some bacher, yeah? So met a girl. So they finish the date, so the Shadchan comes in, so the girl whispers to the Shadchan, says, "Your mama's a shak." Told me he's slim, he's fat. He told me he's handsome, he's as ugly as the devil. He told me he's tall, he's short. He told me he's smart, he's dumb. He told me he's educated, he's illiterate. She's whispering. Shadchan says, "You don't have to whisper, he's deaf too." So that's how a Shadchan works. He sells the Brooklyn Bridge, and then the next day he sells the Williamsburg Bridge, he sells the Manhattan Bridge. But he gets it done at the end. They get engaged. They get married, B'shatayvul Matzlachas, B'shtalta Chuppah, the wedding, Shabbat Brachas. So they come home after the wedding, they come to their apartment, the hotel room, whatever it is. And who do they see in the hotel room? The Shadchan. Malakoy bebeis hakvadas. Today, a gesunde Kopf and a kranke bed. She says, "What's heißt? I need a place to live." And I thought this is a good place for me. A couple were trying to play house. He says, "Let's face it, without me, you two would have been as far as Mars from Venus. The only reason you're together is because of me. I sold the bridge to your mother, to your mother, to your father, to your father. I lied, I exaggerated, I dramatized. I'm responsible for this shidduch, so I'm going to live with you for 2-3 years until I could find another parnas and I'll be able to rent a basement somewhere." You look at the shadchan, you say, the guy is nuts. You did your job, take your check, gave five and go find yourself another place. Shadchan says, "No, I made the shidduch, I want to be here with you." Everybody understands, ein loy malkim. You made the shidduch, emes. Without you, we would have not known each other. But now it's time for you to take a hike and go find somewhere else. Kechol hachizoyin hazeh, kechol hamashal hazeh, the same with the nimshal. In life, you need a shadchan. Everybody needs a shadchan. You need the people, the middlemen, you know.
A Rabbi.
Huh? You need the people. Huh? Sakeve, with socks, on socks. But you need, there's middlemen, there's shadchanim. There's the people who connect you, networking. You know, they're the ones who bring you together. Between a Jew and Hashem, there's also a shadchan. Shadchan generally is the mind. The mind of a person, das. The mind of a person is curious, is inquisitive, is wonders, asks questions, what is life? And the mind, so to speak, creates a continuous challenge to the human being to ask who we are, why we are, what we are. So the mind is, so to speak, the shadchan between the human flesh, the human body, and the creator of the world. And it's not an easy job, because every day again, the body says, "I don't know this chassan, I don't have this count, leave me alone, this date is over, this relationship is over." The seichel will say, no, there's a deeper truth, there's something deeper in life, there's something higher in life. You're not just a beast, you're not just a narcissistic, materialistic piece of matter, a piece of clay. The seichel has to work, you learn, you think, and so forth. And then once a year, Purim. What happens on Purim? Once a year, a Jew turns to the shadchan, turns to his mind, and he says, "Lamid tzeru, for one day, Lamid tzeru, go away from me, ad layada. Let me have intimacy with my chassan and kal. The chassan and kal themselves. Leave me alone. One day a year, ad layada. You take your seichel and you say, do me a favor, 20, I get you, you're important. One day a year, leave me alone, let me experience directly my creator, my soul, my neshama, nafshi v'sichim. That's the avoid of Purim. So which is the real day? Purim is the real day. The rest of the year, you wear masks. Purim is the real day. Adalayada. Where do you see it? You see it in the Megillah. The word das. How do we call religion in Hebrew? What's the word for religion? Dat. Datim. You ever heard the word? Datim and chilonim. Where was the word dat introduced? In Chumash, you don't have once. You have once. B'zayis habracha. Miminoi eish das lamai. And it's part of eish. But where do you have the word das frequent the first time? Where? Megillah Esther non-stop. Every few psukim, Ranaya das. Achashverosh was very into religion. Ba'ashsiya chados einoinus. Pas shegen hados nitna b'shushan abira. Altis dos, hados nitna b'shushan abira. They're busy with dos. A ganze tag das. The Persians get into religion. Das. There's one time that there's no das. Esther tells Mordechai, Uvechein Ovei el HaMelech, Shaloi Chados. The ganze Megillah is das. Was stecken na dos, nicht na dos. Everything is dos. Esther says, Ovechein Ovei el HaMelech Ashaloi Chados. It says in Zohar that Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur we say 3 times Ovechein. Tlas Ovechein. Right? Ovechein Tein Achtecha, Ovechein Tein Kavod, Ovechein Tzadikim. The Arizal was Moisef, you have in the Nusach Svar, the Nusach of the Arizal is Moisef a 4th of Ovechein. One more Bechein, that you don't have it, I think, in the regular Nusach. The Zohar says 3 of Becheins. Arizal was Moisef a 4th of Bechein. So Tzemach Tzedek writes, why wasn't it L'chatchil in the Nusach HaTfilah? He says, because that's the Bechina of Ovechein Ovei el HaMelech Hashaloi Chados. It's not according to the structure, so you couldn't put it in the Nusach. It had to come later. Ovechein Ovei el HaMelech Hashaloi Chados. V'chasher avadati. What's haste? Esther says, I can't walk into the Chatzar HaPnimis. I don't have a shaykhs there. I walk in, achas doser lahamis. You come out with a head shorter. In other words, if you're not ready to die, you don't belong in the Chatzar HaPnimis. Was ben a chatzadik. I'm not ready to die. I'm a regular person. I like a couple of dollars. I like a piece of sushi. I like some money, a nice house, some covet. Well, I'm going to go to the Chatzar HaPnimis. What's up with the Chatzar HaPnimis? Kam the Chatzar HaChitzayna. What does Mordechai tell Esther? Esther, it's not a joke. Not a joke. Life is not a joke. You were placed where you were placed with a shlichus. Esther was wondering, where do I come here? You ever wondered, why did Mordechai say miyoideya? Uncertainty. If you're trying to convince somebody to sacrifice their life, you have to say, aniyoideya. You know what miyoideya means? Who knows? In English, when you say who knows, like, who knows? Maybe yes, maybe not. That's uncertainty, it's ambiguous. Say, aniyoideya, I know, I'm the Rosh Hashanah, I know. Pshat is, Mordechai was saying something very deep. Esther looks at Mordechai and says, how do I end up here with this Persian shikkim? I was a regular Beis Yaakov girl, a regular Muncie girl. I did everything right. I graduated Beis Yaakov, by Suruchel, by Schana, by Suda, by Slivka, whatever it is, whatever the right school, Neve, Shulamit, Tiferet. Am I getting it right? Mushka, whatever. I got everything. I'm a regular good girl. 19-year-old graduates from the Neve, Yerushalayim, of Beis Yaakov, of Borough Park, or of Muncie. I was expecting a bocher from Brisk, from Lemir, from Slobodka, from Lakewood, so I'm from Lubavitch. Achashverosh. Achashverosh. Esther was a good girl. Atzni is the fine Yiddish Amela. But she ends up with a shikeh from Persia. The guy who killed his first queen after 180 said, what do I end up here? A goy, a shikeh, a tippish, the Gemara says, Malach tippish. What's the answer to that? So Mordechai says 2 words, key words, miyoideya. Miyoideya means, it's the b'chin of Adolaya. That's the source of Adolaya. What motivated Esther to go? Miyoideya means who knows. There are things in life that are not accessible through das. We say it every morning. Ashreinu matoiv chelkeinu, manoyim goyraleinu, mayafu Yerushalayim. What's the difference? So it's the part of davening that people don't like. You want to get the way to. You should think about it. There's chelkeinu, there's goyraleinu, there's Yerushalayim. What's the difference? There's a nice niggin for it also. Chelkeinu, ashreinu matoiv. What's the difference? Everybody has Yerushalayim. What's Yerushalayim? Yerushalayim is the baggage you collected from your mother and father. The genes you carry from your parents. Everybody here is a product of their parents, for good and for better. And your grandparents back 4,000 years. Everybody is a product of Tati and Mami. He told me once, he said all his life he's just looking for approval of his father. Nothing else. All he wants is his father to approve what he's doing. Problem is he can't get it. If you know his father, my offer Yerusha Seinu, to be able to make peace with your Yerusha is not so simple. Right, Rabbi Lankry, it's not so simple to make peace with one's father, with one's mother. Not so possible.
Emotional constipation.
Emotional constipation. It's not possible. To be able to say my offer Yerusha Seinu, it's not possible. Then there's Chalkeinu. Chalkeinu is your own lot. You work hard and you achieve things. It's your own. Chalkeinu is you go to a counselor, a therapist, and he says you're good to be this type of person. You know, people 20 years they go searching what type of job is good for them. It's called vocation counseling. I know a guy who's doing it for 30 years. I told him do it another 30 years, and by that time we'll do another Sefer. You're good to go. Their whole life they're looking, what's chelki? Not, forget my father. I don't want to go into my father's business. What's chelki? My chelik, my chelik. It's easy to go into your father's business. Father was a plumber, you'll be a plumber. Your father was a rabbi, you'll be a rabbi. Your father was a this, you'll be a this. Your father loved money, you'll love money. That's simple. What are you going to create for yourself, not your father? So that's what you're good at, you're skilled at, you work hard, and this is yours. You look at some point, and you know what, I did this. But then there's something much deeper. What's a goyrel? A goyrel means that which falls into your lap. You can't even explain. Why me? How me? When you say this person won a goyrel, it's not rational. Why did you win the lottery? Why did you win the goyrel? I don't know. There's no rational connection. Chalkeinu, you could say, you know, this guy is good. He's good with numbers. He's good with biology. He's good with his mouth. He's good with his pen. He's an ambitious businessman. The guy comes to a rabbi, he says, Rabbi, I need parnosim. He says, no, I have two choices. Should I start singing or should I start dancing? So the Rav says, you should start dancing. Why, you saw me dance? He said, no, but I heard you sing. It's okay, you have to know what you're good at, you have to know what you're not good at. Don't quit your day job. Sometimes you have to tell a person, this is not for you. This is not for you. You're a good man, this is not for you. Some people think they have to be in chinuch. It's not for them. They're shaykh to teach children, like you're shaykh to train turtles in New Zealand. They're not made for that. Other people are not made for other things. It's a big chush in life to know what you're good at and what you're not good at. Every Jew has to be good at everything. You're not. Some people, I know, I don't change light bulbs. I don't do it. I don't put in Chanukah menorahs, Chanukah they made ready, because I used to get blood to break off the glass I used to have. You have to know what you're good at, what you're not good at.
I don't fold laundry. I refuse.
Você quer? Depends now.
I thought we were all throwing out examples. I apologize. You're going to go around. Sorry. I really thought you were second turn.
What's Geralenu is things. It's a girdle. How did this end up in my lap? Mordechai tells, Esther says, how does a Beis Yaakov, nice, good, Chassidish, literature, yeshivish, or whatever you want, Sephardi, Ashkenaz, I don't know what Esther was. She was Persian. Sephardi, of course. Her name, Esther Lankry. How does Esther Lankry end up in Persia, in Tehran, wherever it was, in Achashverosh?
My wife has the same question.
So Mordechai sagt ein Zach, mi yoidea. He could have said ani yoidea. Some things are not b'deya. You could use your mind all day. Some things you end up in life with, there's no rational explanation why you and how you. But don't think it's not shaykh. The shaykhis is so deep, comes from a place of Adu Yad. Comes from a place from Hashem Kavayachal Amaylam and Adas. Hashem is not a seichel, it's l'mayla min adas. It says, mi yodeim le'iska zoyse yapamacht. Somehow your neshama has this shlichus. You end up with certain people, certain situations. Don't run away. You have to be able to look and say, Manoyim Goyr Aleinu. There's a sweetness in Goyr Aleinu. It's not easy, but you have to be able to say, Manoyim Goyr Aleinu. It's not clear. You ever went on a jeep on Dazazel? Don't. Unless you want to have a hero children. You'll feel like Dazazel, the scapegoat. 2 goats. One ends up in Kodesh HaKadoshim, Achas Lamayla V'Sheva Lamata, Achas V'ya Achas. And the other one in the Azazel. One ends up by the Aron. No other carbon went into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, only the soil of Hashem, only one whole year. And one ends up down a cliff in the abyss. Evadim, fragmented, broken, shattered. So we look at these 2 boys, we say, it must be this kid had a normal mother, and this kid had a crazy mother. This kid had a functional father, and this kid had an alcoholic, gambler, addict, codependent, sugar-nary, temperamental father. This kid was nurtured, this kid was molested. This kid, the Rabbi picked him up, and this kid was in this yeshiva, and they put him down and told him, you're a shmegegi, you're an idiot. And you know what? Sometimes that's true. We all know sometimes that's true. Sometimes this kid got a sour plate, whether family or school or situations that happen. Yeah, that's true. It's not so simple. Sometimes you look at the goats and they're identical. The Mara, the Kohen, the Domer, they're identical. Can't blame the mother. You can't. 2 kids in the same family, loving parents. One ends up in Kodesh HaKadoshim, one else. So you ask why? The answer is it's a goyrel. A goyrel is not, nobody knows. It's l'mayla min adas. The b'china of miyodeya. The b'china of Purim. Al kein korel ayavmeila Purim. Al shem ha-Pur hu a-goyrel. It's a goyrel. This means miyodeya. Every person has a different shlichus. Different neshamas have different shlichus. You can't be judgmental. You have to fit into my box. It doesn't work that way. Everyone has a different mission. Everyone has a different shlichus. So Esther, when Esther heard this, you know what she says? Uvechein avei al hamelech Hashem lo chados. Mordechai triggered in Esther koyach l'mayla min adas. Al pi das. If Esther would have come to a regular good rabbi and said, should I go in? Every reason you shouldn't go in. It's a sort of pikuach nefesh. Every reason not to go in. But Esther learned from Mordechai the b'china of miyodeya. Mordechai was a different type of Jew. He makes a Yom Tiv, he says, Adel lo yadel. L'mayla min bonus. L'mayla min bonus. For Mordechai, Judaism is not about worshipping structure and remaining stuck in your comfort zone. Let's face it. For many of us, religion is about remaining stuck in the comfort zone. The Chiddush of Purim is Uvechein avei al hamelech Hashem lo chados. There's no chados. Stop with dos. There's no dosim and chiloinim. There is dos, there's nish dos. You know, it is dos. There is nish dos. Dos both in Hebrew and in Yiddish. You know what dos is? It's psachefta. It's a dos. In Israel, it's very derogatory. Dos, dosim, chiloinim. I once saw a letter from the Lubavitcher Rebbe to somebody. He wrote to the Rebbe that he's a chiloini. So he wrote like this. He said, from the day of Matan Torah, when the Rebbeinu Shalom said about every Yid, Mamleches Koyanim, the Goy Kodesh, there's no such a thing as chiloini, because chiloini comes from the word chulin. Shtaz Ayid was his abchina from chulin. Because Hashem says that you're part of Goy Kodesh. I'm sorry, I can't accept that term about you. So it's easy for structural purposes. You're this, you're that. So it comes Purim, Uvechein avei al hamelech Hashem lo chados. Al pi seichel, you could say you need a shadchan. Once a year, you have to send away the shadchan to the islands in Africa. And you have to say, Uvechein avei al hamelech Hashem lo chados. Achas dosoi, chasher avarti. Don't worry. Say them. Ashaloi chados. Stop limiting yourself. Stop putting yourself into a box. That's what Mordechai said. Once a year, don't send away the shadchan, the nukma the shadchan. So really Purim is the emphasis. Purim has to be a whole year. But a whole year we wear a mask. Never a whole year we have to look normal, so we wear masks. Purim, you take off the mask. How do you take off the mask? By putting on a mask. By covering up a whole year, you become a real person. A whole year you wear masks. You're busy being normal. Purim, it's the real b'china. No seichel, you don't need seichel. The etzem ha-nefesh is connected. Are we communicating?
No.
Chayim,
Let's get our water. Let's get our water. My daughter probably had to get some kind of thing for Washington. It's your great academics in medicine. For the inauguration. Is this real?
This class is brought to you by the yeshiva.net. Please help us continue the classes. Make even a small contribution at www.theyeshiva.net/donate.